As Queen Elizabeth presides over an emergency meeting today over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's future, opinions in Britain are sharply divided, you could say. The royal couple say that they plan to step back from their roles, while some support their declaration of independence, others question it. In an op-ed in the Daily Mail, royal biographer Penny Junor writes that she fears Prince Harry appears to be on a, quote, trajectory of self-destruction. She also writes he, quote, essentially is rejecting his birthright, his closest family, and a public role that he seemed to have embraced and even flourished in. Penny Junor joins us now from London with more on this story. Penny, it's good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
I want to start with your words where you said he appears to be on a trajectory of self-destruction. That's pretty strong. How can you say that, and what exactly do you mean?
Well, what I mean is, I've written about Harry. I've spoken to him. I've followed him. I've observed him over his whole life.
When was the last time you've spoken to him?
I spoke to him.
Conversation.
It was before he met Meghan. It was probably about 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. But the Harry that I have known all those years is not the Harry that I'm seeing today. The behaviour is very uncharacteristic. Harry was a very cheerful, happy man. Always laughing, always joking, always taking the mickey out of someone. That cheerful, charming man seems to have disappeared, and in his place we have an angry, disgruntled, really seriously disgruntled man.
Well, he admits so, Penny, that he's angry and frustrated by the treatment of his wife, who he loves and adores, and his son, and he's very concerned about her safety and her well-being. Why wouldn't he be angry and frustrated about that?
Gail, the treatment that Meghan has had at the hands of our press, really, it's not as devastating as I have seen over handed out to many other celebrities. It is, you know, the press. I mean, there have been comparisons or he has compared her treatment with the treatment that his mother received from the press. There is no comparison. When Diana was being pursued by the press and when they were feasting on her private life and digging everywhere, the British media absolutely lost its moral compass. But after her death, a new code of conduct was drawn up for the British newspapers, and the press have abided by and large by those rules. Since then, they are way, way more restrained than they were. But of course, it's always hurtful. I mean, you will know, you're in the public eye. I'm in the public eye. When somebody doesn't like you, they say so with no holds barred, or the press will criticise you. And it's hurtful. And I think that Meghan she's a sensitive girl. She's a lovely girl. The British love her. This is what is so frustrating. Harry and she seem to be believing that we don't love them. We do love them. They are fantastic. They arrived, you know, they were a golden couple. They were sprinkling fairy dust everywhere.
But Penny,
they were in danger of outshining William and Kate.
But Penny, you also write that Harry has long struggled with what it means to be a royal, and that he himself has spoken openly about being close to a complete breakdown at points. So why does this seem so out of character to you?
Before he was married to Meghan, he talked about that.
Yes. Yeah. No, Harry certainly, throughout his childhood and his youth, he struggled with being a royal. He wanted to be plain Harry Wales. But he then went into the army and he fought in Afghanistan. He changed. He was a changed character. This troubled boy, troubled young man who was drinking too much and not taking care of himself. He, with the army, the discovery that he was so brilliant at flying Apache helicopters, he became a different character. And he understood, with the Invictus Games, which he stole from America, the idea, he discovered that he was able to put together a show like that within a year, the space of a year. he could do that because he was HRH Prince Harry.
You know,
Harry Wales could never, ever have done that, however brilliant the idea.
Petty, I want to circle back to the treatment of Meghan by the tabloids there in the UK. In your op-ed, you say that racism has not been a factor. You don't see it as a factor, but we just took a quick search this morning. We found numerous examples of really questionable phrasing, headlines referring to her as straight out of Compton. That's a reference to a rap lyric. She has exotic DNA, another piece said. Another described her mother as a dreadlocked African-American lady from the wrong side of the tracks. And then, of course, there's that infamous...
Let's not forget that picture.
The infamous... There's a BBC reporter who was fired for tweeting an image of the royal baby as a chimp. That's just a quick list that we put together this morning. So how can you say that race is not a factor here?
I don't believe race is a factor. I'm sorry. I really don't.
Say more on how.
Look at the way, I mean, of course there are some idiots around, and there are some racists around. You know, we all know that. But look at the reception that Meghan had when she arrived here. We took her to our hearts. The British were thrilled about her marrying into the royal family, and they were thrilled because she was mixed race. That was one real plus.
Have you not heard that? Did you check in with any black Britons before you made that determination?
I hear what you're saying, and I know that there are some people, you know, there are many people in this country who are black or who are of colour who feel that they are in a racist society. Equally, there are other people who are also of colour who do not feel they're in a racist society. It depends upon your personal experience.
Well, Penny, I don't think you have to have personal experience to have your baby portrayed as a chimp and it says royal couple leaving the hospital. That's
Gail,
very hurtful, and that is, in fact, very racist.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. Sorry, I'm not trying to defend things like that. I'm absolutely not.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I think that the overweening sentiment of the British public was to be enthusiastic about Meghan, to welcome her. We wanted, I mean, she came into the royal family, and because she was of colour, it made a whole lot of coloured people in our country suddenly find that the monarchy was relevant for them.
Well, it certainly seems to have taken a turn. It'll be interesting to see how this big meeting turns out today. We're all very hopeful. Yeah, well, it's a win-win for everybody.
But I really hope we don't lose them.
Yes, I do too.
Penny, thank you very much.